Okay, let's talk about kitchen knives again. And I got a full set of those Japanese style knives from this brand, SASAKI. And for you, quick review, recommendations, does it worth it? So basically what it is and where I got it. I got the set of three kitchen knives, the chef, the santoku, and the paring knife. I'll show them all from COSTCO. Good price for three knives, which is supposed to be pretty good. So let's see what they are advertised for. So first of all, they come in three separate boxes. Really nice packaging, right? So you get the sleeve. Out of the sleeve comes the box, and the box kind of says a lot about the knife, the features and stuff like that. So 8-inch Damascus chef's knife. They say all stainless steel. They say the bolster, it's fine. Integrated bolster, full tank construction, 3 pins, 1 mosaic pin, end cap, fine, yep. It comes with a plastic sheath, like a case for storage, and that's how it comes in the box. That's another box with magnetic flap. You open this up, the same kind of information here. The knife itself, really good, really impressive. Those are the knives which they have. This series versus this series, I'll show you the difference. Polishing cloths, that's fine, and then a nice box with the plastic sheath and the knife itself. Okay, so let's talk more about the knife and what you get, and we'll talk about everything else down the road. So get rid of the package. I'll leave this one. We want to talk about it, and I'll get rid of this one. That's the sheath. You open it, you take the knife out. Really good, impressive. So what we see? We see the knife, pretty heavy, pretty big, 8-inch. I'm not gonna measure that. It's all right. And then we see the way this knife is made. So pretty much, you're getting a full tank knife. You're getting what? We'll measure that. We're getting a couple millimeters, maybe almost 3 millimeters of blade width. And it's flat. It just has this hammered pattern and mirror polish. After that, what we're gonna get? We're gonna get like a saber grind with which kind of reveals all the Damascus layers. And then after the saber grind, we're gonna get also like a polished core steel. I think that's what they refer to as AUS 10, but I don't think this is AUS 10 on the sides. And then the edge itself. So it is saber grind. So it's not ground to complete like a zero bevel. No, it's not the case. But in general, let's actually measure that. We're 2 millimeters, 2.2 millimeters for the spine, and let's try to get a feeling on the edge. And it's gotta be no, excuse me. It's not super thin. It comes down to relative, I'd say 0.3, not really 0.2. 0.2 is like I almost, okay, so maybe it's even 0.2. So it's pretty thin, it's okay. So let's look at the knife, let's look at the features, let's compare it to another knives in the same series and the other series, and I'll tell you what it is and my impression after using them for a while. So first of all, you're gonna get two types of those knives. Sasaki Takumi would be this series where it's like a saber grind, and Sasaki Matsute would be the series with a flat grind, and it's gonna look like this. Okay, Each series has different types of knives, so I got this set, those 3 from COSTCO, and those 2 I bought online. I only left this one. Santoku is gone, but anyway, they constructed very in a similar way. So that's for difference between the series. And then inside the series, what are you gonna get? You're gonna get a smaller Santoku knife, and you're gonna get paring knife. And same for another series with just different grind. Even this paring knife is like a saber grind. You see this one flat and hammered, and then you have the sides of the edge. Okay, and similar design for the handle, exactly the same handle everywhere on the larger knives, and then of course the smaller handle on the paring knife, which is way smaller. Fine, so let's take a look at the knife with all the features and see, is it really good from a quality point of view? Let's start with the large one. First of all, how you hold it, the bolster. You feel the weight, it's heavy, but in general the bolster is made pretty well. You kind of see where they've used this metal to this metal, and you see it even better on in here on those type of series of knives with the flat grind. So it's different, but that's fine. Everybody does it this way. Then we're gonna get this area, and it's nicely rounded, so no rough corners here. That's fine. You're gonna get to the heel of the blade, and you see there's a little bit of a cutoff, cutaway, I should say. On this series, yep, they have it. On this series, it's like a smaller one, but anyway, you don't feel like a sharp corner here, don't feel like a sharp edge for your finger. When you work with a knife, you're good. And then speaking of the width of the blade, it's all right. It's very tall, I should say. Works comfortably on the chopping board. I did work on this, of course, and the rear bolster is not it's not too low. It doesn't kind of prevent you from doing all kinds of rocky moves. That's okay. Then you get to the blade, and again with the this series or this series, you're gonna get some edge. You're gonna get some core steel, kind of like a Damascus. It's actually ground. I mean, the edge itself is created quite well. I looked at all of those knives. I look at with the magnifying glass. Edge is created okay, good, I should say. On this knife, only on this one, they kind of made the tip not really well, and it just also it is a thicker knife. The tip is not super thin. Let's compare to this one here. The blade tapers towards the tip, and tip is really good on this knife, and it feels kind of lighter and feels better, I should say, this knife. And I'd say if you're choosing between this one and this one, even visually, this one's better. If you like glossy and heavy knife, this one probably would be better. You don't really need a good tip on a heavy knife. It's mostly for press and chopping. It's fine. This one would be a little bit better for fine work. All right, the spine of the blade is okay. The handle, the way the handle is done is good, I should say. I mean, it's some sort of micarta. I don't think it's G10. On the box they don't actually specify what kind of material it is, fiberglass something, and you can't say for sure if it's a G10 or micarta. To me it looks like micarta. G10 has like a thinner layers usually. There's nothing on a real bolster. The bolster is good, mosaic pin is good, and again, we went around the knife. What can I say? Executed quite well. Most of them executed quite well. You have a very minor things like imperfections here, and here it's actually quite perfect. Here it's kind of like a tiny-ish gap. not really gap, just not absolutely perfect fit, but I mean, I'm just nitpicking. That's pretty good. So one more time, let's talk about prices and let's talk about where you can get them, and then let me show you actually what is really wrong with those knives. So those 3 knives, 1, 2, 3 from COSTCO, I think they sold out. They were $150 for 3 knives, which I think for relatively good kitchen knives is a good price. If we start talking about upscale materials like a good steel, good handle materials, all those nice features like mosaic pins, you cannot get anywhere closer within this price range to those knives. Of course, those are not real Japanese, they're made in China, but that's okay. I mean, China can make very good knives. Those ones are online, and the price for them is really funny thing. If you have any type of browser extension which monitors the price, the history of the price, find this knife. Find this knife and the Santoku version and look at the history for those prices. Usually, even those knives, they each individually, if you buy them from Amazon, they will go up to 100 each knife easily. Of course, not the smaller one, but larger ones, the price will jump from 80 to over 100 and then maybe back. With this knife, the price jumped from 80 down to 20 something, 28, like it was in the 30s range. I bought it for 30, a little bit over 30, this one and the Santoku version for the same pattern, and then it jumped back to 80 something. So what can I say? Those knives, really heavy, saber grind, again, heavy and not super comfortable even for the small one. I would not recommend in general. Only if you like the look, if you like heavy knives, if you like them being really like massive and flashy and polished, yeah, get them. This knife for 30 bucks was probably one of the best, quote unquote, best kitchen knives what you can get with a lot of features. It kind of exposes to you as a customer. Damascus look, Japanese look, mosaic pin, good materials on the handle, overall good construction, good size, box, polishing cloth, case, and so on. This one of Santoku would probably be one of the best value knives for the money, for 30 bucks. Now it's not 30 bucks anymore, it's about 80, I guess. I'll put the screenshot with the history of those price changes at the end of the video, but anyway, that's what it is. So now let's talk what is wrong with those knives, and that's a lot. As I said, they look nice, they feel nice in the handle. I mean, the handle feels nice. They feel nice when you hold them. And by the way, let's talk about balance. This is balanced really well right here, but since the handle on all of those knives is exactly the same, you're getting the lighter blade, the balance moves towards the handle a little bit, so it will be like somewhere around here. Same for this knife, it moves a little bit kind of beyond this point, but it's not too bad, not too bad in terms of weight of the handle, but it's okay. So you gotta keep it in mind. This knife feels, even with this slight reverse balance, more manageable than this one. Anyway, so I'm gonna keep this knife, I'm gonna keep this knife, and I'll tell you what's really wrong with those knives. So let's go one by one. Yeah, here we go. The blade, 67 layers of Damascus Austin steel. Well, first of all, it's not Austin steel. Austin steel is Japanese, good, premium steel, and it's of course made in China. It's not that. Why am I saying all of that? Because literally if you started searching for this knife on Amazon, for example, just scroll down and you'll see how many knives which look exactly the same, like this knife, with the slight differences, but it'll be exactly the same handle. It will be exactly similar shapes for chef's knife, santoku, paring knives, other like boning knives, bread knives in the same series with exactly the same handle, exactly the same handle construction, maybe a little bit different mosaic pin, maybe they will have something here on the real bolster, they will have a different brand here printed on top of the blade, but really they all come most likely from the same factory, which makes generic knives, Japanese looking, and then the brands like SASAKI and other ones which you'll see, they just ask them, put the logo like this, put this brand on top of, like on one side of a knife, and you see how it's printed here. It just there's nothing, it's just like just a brand, no steel, no model number and so on. It's just maybe they go cheap for this stamp, but in reality you start looking at those knives, you start comparing, and you see they advertise them a little bit differently. Some of them will say it's micarta, some of them will say it's a G10, some of them will say it's AUS 10, some of them will say it's a VG10, and some of them will say, oh, it's X110 CRMOV, whatever number, steel which is similar to VG10 or AUS 10, that's how they advertise it. But in reality, if I look at this specific knife, this specific brand, it says AUS 10, and it's most likely not. Second thing, which I also said, yeah, the handle, we don't know what kind of material it is, but don't get me wrong, it's better to be this type of material rather than a wood. It's more reliable in the kitchen. Another thing which is really wrong with this knife, I don't believe it's a real Damascus, and it's not. So look in here, I took a Dremel and a polishing tip and I started like polishing this off. I think that's a printing or some kind of etching of the Damascus in here on both sides of the blade and in here as well. So that's why you're also getting this kind of very good transition between, not very good, like visible transition between kind of like a steels here, but that's probably where the template for those things ends. So pretty much I don't believe it's a real Damascus in any shape or forms. It's most likely not. It's just good kind of visual representation of layers in Damascus. I don't believe it, but as I said, blades is sharp. Third thing which I really hate about this, take a look at this knife. Well, big, good, and so on. Look at this. What I just did, I bent it. I bent that super easy, didn't put too much force on this. Now it's bent. And by the way, one of those knives, either this one or Santoku, which I don't have anymore, it came bent and the box was open. So I was probably like a second person to have it. First person probably returned it. So if that would be good Damascus with a good core of super hard steel, would I be able to bend it? No way. No way. For example, typical German knife, same 2mm stock. Will I be able to bend it? I'm trying, and I can't. It resists. It's really strong. It is really strong. This one, you see the result, right? I can unbend it easily, make it straight again. Almost there. I'm almost there. take a look. I have a straight knife now. So this makes me believe that even that steel, whatever they're using here in the core, is not harder than your typical steels, so it probably doesn't worth getting this knife for the steel and expect like edge retention, edge performance, edge holding kind of capabilities out of this knife. Can you make it sharp? Yes, you can. Does it come sharp? Yes, it does. They say 15-degree angle. Yes, it is 15-degree angle. I did resharpen one of those and it was 15 degrees and did resharpen well. It took an edge, but I didn't cook a lot with them. I can't say, just from my experience, how good it is for the edge holding. I didn't push that too much because I started like thinking, do I really need to use those knives, or just gonna give them as giveaways, gifts, because they just look nice. So yeah, so that's the main problem with those knives. So whatever claims are made from that generic factory which makes all kinds of Japanese style kitchen knives, no, that's not it's not true. All I read here, it's not really that level of performance which you would expect. But anyway, for 30 bucks, I'd say, if you get this knife for 30 bucks, so it doesn't matter what kind of steel it is. Doesn't matter if it's even not 60 something HRC, maybe it's 56 HRC, the same hardness as your traditional European knives. Would it be a good knife for 30 bucks? I guess so. Would it be a good knife for 80 bucks? For 100 bucks? No. If you see them for that price, don't buy them. Again, only if you like the look, like the handle, maybe you like the shiny stuff. Where is that shiny stuff on those larger ones? Yep, then yeah, for sure. And that, of course, that generic factory explains why all of those knives have very simple branding on the sides. Probably, maybe they make branding later, and then they make boxes on a different factory or something like that. And by the way, don't use those, because it's a plastic sheath. You put the knife in, I'll show you. You put the knife in, like this, you lock it, and it rattles. See? It rattles. What it does, it's a plastic. It's gonna scratch all of those nice polishing, and you will not enjoy your polishing. You'll see the scratches, and this one already has a few. So here we go, Sasaki knives and other brand knives. Not recommending at the end, only for the looks. And I will write this review. I didn't have time yet, but I will write this review on a COSTCO website for this set of knives. It's already gone at the moment, but maybe COSTCO will take a look and see that it's not the real brand of Sasaki knives. It's just something else, and they probably should not sell those things. And of course, I will write the review on Amazon, but for Amazon, I think less luck for me. There's hundreds of reviews there, maybe thousands. Some people like them, some people don't, and they have actually say very similar things to what I'm saying, that it's they don't believe it's a true Damascus. This knife bends super easy, and nice packaging, nice looks. You are getting all of those reviews over there, and my review will be lost there. But for you on my channel, here we go. That's what it is. Also for my own memories, I'm recording this video. I did have an initial good impression on them, but as soon as I started looking up and working with them, it's not really top performance and top qualities which you get. I'd say spend a little bit more, buy good kitchen knife, like chef's knife, over $50, you'll find good ones. In $100–150 range, you start talking about good brands already. Good brands with a good history, reputation. $150 will give you true Japanese knives. No, not even $150. You want a Japanese knife? I'll show you. I'll show you one which I have, which I bought for really good money. It's not that of an astonishing look, but it's true Japanese knife with a good quality, made in Japan, Japanese steel, Japanese tradition, performs really good, way better than this heavy Santoku. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.